Welcome back, XRP holders. Appreciate all the love. Let's get right in today's update, see what's happening, and of course, what we could be expecting as we are starting off a brand new week. If we're looking across the board, yesterday was a great day. And again, as we are starting off the new week, this overall momentum is carrying on. As you can see across the board, a lot of double digit gainers. XRP, on the other hand, is up about 8%. But again, a great day for the broader market. If you're zooming out and taking a look at it, even on the weekly time frame, slowly but surely, altcoins are picking up momentum. But again, on this channel, we still need to be looking for confirmations. And again, I'm going to touch a little bit more on that as we do go further into this update. So the price of XRP, $2.48, up 3.7% on the Bitcoin side of things, with the valuation sitting at about $149.3 billion dollars, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $4.2 billion dollars. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So take a look at this. The biggest news, in my opinion, is this. President Trump announces that he will be paying a tariff dividend of at least $2,000 per person. Stimulus checks are officially back, and I think this has really had a positive impact on the crypto markets, as well as the pre-market numbers on the equity side of things as well. But on top of that, government shutdown could be coming to an end, and I think it is already done. You can see for yourself, Senate advances bill to end U.S. government shutdown. The amendment package will still have to be passed by the House and sent to the president for his signature. So pretty much, again, almost set in stone at this point, which also has sparked in a lot of interest, something we've discussed on the channel to be looking out for. And this would be huge for, the ETF side of things, because of course, this might, make SEC really go back to, where they were in terms of, kind of keeping up with all the SEC dates. The SEC, ETF dates, and XRP one is coming up, which we're going to talk about. But take a look at this. While sentiment is at all-time lows, Bitcoin retested and closed the week above the 50 weekly moving average. You could see for yourself, and historically speaking, when you do that, we have seen every time the price of Bitcoin try to see a little bit of a bounce. So again, is this time going to see that? Obviously, a lot of people talking about how this cycle is going to extend based off of the major announcements that we're hearing. Again, we'll see what happens. Again, we did see a major liquidation event taking place. And is this market really going to extend? Again, 2026 is going to be the year where we find out whether or not that's going to happen. But historically speaking, sometime this year or early January, should be the top. And again, historically speaking. But we'll see what happens. A part of me, again, I've shared this on my channel before. We might see, the projects that do have the ETF side of things, that have the ETF approval, that obviously have a spot ETF where, massive institutions can come on board. BTC and the likes of, the, big utility coins might, benefit out of this. But again, obviously, as far as, the 4-year cycle is concerned, even if that is no longer going to be a thing, I still do believe 99% of the altcoins are still going to be impacted. Take a look at what has happened. Historically speaking, like I said, we're still in a bull market, but yet zoom out and take a look at which altcoins still held up their ground and which ones did not. And 99% of the altcoin market has, plummeted quite a bit, especially compared to where we were just a year back. So these things we don't want to be ignoring. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But take a look at this. Ripple CEO discusses a potential basket ETF. As more crypto ETFs are gaining approval, Brad Girlinghouse says he would like to see more basket ETFs and see a huge opportunity in the industry, as approximately 50% of hedge funds still do not have crypto exposure. The idea of maximalism in crypto holds the industry back. I want to grow the whole thing. So again, very, very interesting. I totally agree with that. I think we're still in the very early stages of it. And take a look at HBAR numbers. Take a look at Solana numbers. And what I mean by numbers is not the native token performance. I want you guys to take a look at the inflows coming on the ETF side of things. We actually saw such a major, retracement for the crypto space starting off November, but yet you saw positive inflows coming in what does that highlight? That shows you institutional interest is there for these coins. And again, it's just the start in terms of more ETFs being approved. Litecoin, H bar, along with Solana. These were spot ETFs for the first time after Bitcoin and Ethereum. So again, I think it's still the starting phase. Obviously, in terms of financial institutions, they're building. A lot of them are partnering with crypto companies, and offering their own clients their own trading platforms. I think 2026 is going to be a big year, and a lot of people overlook 2025 was the biggest year in my opinion for crypto in terms of regulation, in terms of this industry moving in the right direction. A lot happened. And a few years back we used to dream of times like this, and we're actually seeing that happening. But let's take a further look and see what's happening. You can see 9 XRP spot ETFs are now listed on the DTCC, signaling readiness ahead of possible launch this month. Listed ETFs, of course, are Bitwise, Canary, volatility shares. So you can see the so on and so forth. The list is pretty much right here. So are we going to see this happening as the government shutdown is coming closer to an end? Again, obviously, we did see some of the other ETFs that I've just mentioned. Just makes sense for XRP spot ETF to finally go live. I think it's long overdue, and I think that is going to be a historic moment in my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people are waiting for this to happen, not just because this is history in the making, but also to kind of compare it to Solana ETFs to see where XRP kind of ranks. So we'll see what happens. But let's move forward and see what Nate Garcia says. Government shutdown ending equals spot crypto ETF, surge opening. In meantime, could see the first 33x spot XRP ETF launch this week potentially. So again, very, very interesting things to be looking out for. But speaking about interesting, take a look at what Anders says. Updated my graphic of companies Ripple recently acquired because of the purchase of Palisade, their new wallet solution. Pretty amazing when you see the full picture of what they're building. This is the next generation financial infrastructure, and it's a lot more than just cross-border transfers. They've recently acquired 5 different companies, obviously Medico, Hidden Road, Rail, G Treasury, and of course, the new one. Ripple is becoming a huge company in the space, and I think it already is. And a lot of people overlook that based off of just the native tokens price, and even the native tokens price action is something a lot of people overlook, because again, if you zoom out and take a look at the performance over the last 12 months, speaks for itself. Take a look at the heat map of obviously Upbit leading the way in terms of the volume coming on the spot side of things. But let's take a look at what's happening with the dominance. As you can see for yourself, dominance still ranging around the 60% mark, almost at 60%. We haven't really seen any weakness. This is what I drew for the last update that I made on H bar. You want to start to see the dominance show some sort of weakness. Even though Bitcoin did see a really nice bounce, as you can see for yourself at 106,300. It was about a 5% move for Bitcoin over the last 24 hours, but dominance has not budged. You want to see the dominance pulling down, which is very, very important. But let's take a look at what's happening with XRP. So XRP's price back, of course, in the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level. Let's take a closer look at it on the hourly time frame and really see what is happening. So let's go back down to November 4th. Anyone that was able to get in around this $2.06 price point, you're looking at an increase of about 20% for XRP. In just the last 24 hours, we have seen a gain of about 11%. Again, kind of goes back to what I said. BTC pushed up about 5%. So that is something we want to kind of keep in mind. Dominance still did go down, but not to an extent that we want to see like what we saw just about 2 days back. We were sitting at around 60.14%. Obviously, we did pull down, which did still give altcoins, a move towards the upside. Of course, if Bitcoin is going to see a move like the way it has, it kind of goes unsaid. But again, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, as you guys know, I'm still not buying this move. I know you guys might think crypto ZX is sounding, crazy, but again, I want to see the price of Bitcoin within the red zone, which of course is the 23.6 fib zone. Very, very important level to be above. And of course, heading back up to the confirmation zone. But again, as I said, still want to see the dominance pulling down. Very, very important. But XRP's price looking amazing right now. Obviously, we are, facing some key resistance. But again, after breaking this resistance, what happens next? $2.55, a level, that is not new to us on this channel, would be, retested again, a level that, we were at the beginning of this month. So that would be quite an interesting place to be at. Again, we're very close. Obviously, we're having a little bit of a hard time breaking out of this key range, but we are just about 2.8% away for us to get back above here. So we want to see a new monthly high. That would be amazing to to start off this week. Could potentially happen in the next few hours to come, especially if Bitcoin is able to, maybe push up to the $107,000 price point. Obviously, we're facing some resistance right now, so keep that in mind. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you so much for all your support. Subscribe if you have not done so already, and we'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace.